Welcome to another edition of The Barking Dead.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of EPL on Pub.
Class is in session, hitting the books on Pub Sports.
This is another exciting edition of the main event on Talking Ants.
Yeah, welcome to the good, the bad, and the money. I'm your host, Sharpie's Bets, and we're here to talk NFL Prize Picks, which is NFL props as well. So if you haven't, go on over to prizepicks.com or the app and sign up by using promo code PUBSPORTS for your first deposit up to $100. Minimum of $25, they will match deposit it. So roll it over one time and get you some real money. Do us a favor if you haven't, smash the like button, and I appreciate every freaking which one of you that just joined up as a member. We already have 4 dudes waiting in the chat signing up as a member. So if you haven't already, do us a favor, go on over there and join that membership. On this show, I will answer anybody who is a member that has signed up. If you have a fantasy question, I will try to get to it. If you got a question on either which side, I will try to get to it. I will prioritize the members on this show, and that's how it shall be. So, on this show, we're going to talk about get right spots, great spots, and the game of the day, which is the 49ers and the Rams. Then we bring in a guy who fucks props in the eye hole, the leader of the NFL Pub Hub every Sunday on Pub Sports Radio, where over 17 cappers give out their best plays. And that man is Billy Briz, and he's here to give you his favorite prize pick plays for the week. Then we finish it off with a bang. Big Show picks, play of the day. So sit back and let's get to the numbers. My get right spot of the day goes to this Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins at Detroit Lions, where they're a 4-point favorite, and the total is at 51.5. First spot I'm going to look at is Tua's fantasy score over 16. Tua is back and gets a layup type of game to eat versus the 31st ranked D in football. 31st in total yards allowed, 32 in points allowed, and at a whopping 32.3 points a game. Well, they're also 31st on third down percentage. So last week, Tua had 15.5 fantasy points in his first game back, and that was some stupid play calls made by the coach. Tua should have a day, and let's talk about those playmakers that he's going to have a day with. And that first spot up for me is Raheem Mostert, rush yards over 67.5. This is just off. And I'll be betting this as a prop as well. He is on the injury report, but has logged a limited practice yesterday and is on pace to start the game. Mostert has had 4 straight games with 14-plus carries, hitting over 68 yards in 3 of the last 4 games, and 79 yards last week with Tua behind center. That means the world to me here. Now, you can't load up the box, and you have to play a 2-safety defense with Hill and Waddle on the outside, which just opens up the running lanes like we seen last week. So taking the Lions at 31st versus the rush, allowing a $163 on the ground. Mostert has taken over 80% of the running back snaps over the last 4 weeks and should continue to dominate the touches. Sign me up for Raheem! And that's what I scream every time he runs a beautiful run for me. Now, how can you talk these Miami Dolphins not getting right without talking Jalen Waddle's receiving yards over 65.5? So many plays in this game that makes too much sense to me. And this one right here is another one I'm going to put my money on in the prop market. And we're getting this number because Tua didn't play 2.5 games due to concussions, and that affected all the wide receiver numbers with those bums behind center. The 4 games with Tua as quarterback, he has over 66 yards in all 4 games while averaging 107 yards a game, and now gets these Lions? The Lions? Oh, man, they're going to have a handful trying to control our boy Mostert, and our boy Waddle is going to, waddle, up and down this damn field. And that Waddle dance, Waddle didn't even come up with it. Our man Billy Briz was doing the Waddle dance the very first Pub Hub last week before that dude got into the end zone. So check yourself, don't wreck yourself. And how could we not talk Tyreek Hill if we're going to talk Waddle and Mostert? We got to finish this freaking great spot up with Tyreek Hill's fantasy score over 19.5. So we've already talked about these Lions defensive woes. 31st in total yards, 32nd in points allowed. Well. Is it not Tyreek Hill time? Hill hasn't seen the end zone since week 2, and all systems change here. He's had double-digit targets in 3 of his 4 games played with Tua, while having 7+ catches in 6 of 7 games. I expect 7+ catches, a big play touchdown. His fantasy score is the way I'm going to look at running him. Now we talk about great spots, where last week we swept the board in this spot. We also talked about Terry McLaurin with Heineke, and we have some more spots to attack. So let's eat. And before we eat, do me a favor, go hit the share, hit the retweet, hit the like, and shout out to Chris Baggin just popping in as the newest member, guys. We've had 5 people sign up on this chat. Shout out to you all. I appreciate you. I will answer any of the members' questions if they have a question. So now, let's talk about the first great spot on the board. And this is going to be the Broncos at Jaguars in London, where the Jags are a 2.5-point favorite with the total set at 41. And we're going to talk about Greg Dulcich receiving yards over 30.5. Huh? Who the fuck's Greg Dulcich? Let me tell you who Greg Dulcich is. He's drafted out of UCLA, and this guy is a man-child that we're going to make money with. Now, let's talk about it. Russell Wilson is active, but even if he goes out, Dulcich should still eat, and that's why I love this spot. He has played 2 games since missing the beginning of the year due to a hamstring issue, and this big body man can torch the field with his 4.4 speed and has great hands to boot. In the first game Dulcich played with Wilson, he was second on the team in targets with 3 out of all wide receivers and tight ends, only trailing Jerry Jeudy. Last week with the backup quarterback, he led the team with 6 catches, 51 yards. One thing Wilson has always needed going back to Seattle is a tight end, and this tight end is real. Not enough out there on him yet because he's only seen 2 games, so got to get on him before they adjust that number. Second great spot we're going to look at is the Steelers at the Eagles, where the Eagles are a 10.5-point favorite, and the total is set at 43. Well, I'm going to go towards that 10.5-point dog here, and we're going to look at George Pickens' fantasy score over 10.5. Now, it's 10.5-point dogs in this game. There is game script out there for a monster game, and with Slay on Johnson, I expect even more balls thrown towards Pickens' way. With Pickett as QB, the 2 games together, he led the wide receiving group in catches and yards both games while averaging 6 catches a game for 72 yards. He is averaging 13 yards a catch on the year and is the big chunk wide receiver on this team and has a nice rapport with Pickett. Old Jorge, or George if you want to call him, he's going to get a lot more than just his average and should hit this just on his average alone. He hits this fantasy score. And like I said, with Johnson getting the Slay treatment, I expect more than his average. And that's where I expect the monster game to come in, where his average is 13 fantasy points right now. And you're going to give Slay treatment to Johnson? No, I expect a 20-point game actually from Pickett. So let's go old Jorge or Georgie. Third great spot, guys, and we've been making money versus the Texans all year. And why the fuck stop now? Titans at the Texans. Titans minus 2.5. The under-over is at 40.5 in this game. And we're going to look at Derrick Henry's rush yards over. And oh man, is this number high, but it should be actually higher. I would not be surprised if this closes around the $1.09, actually 10 yards higher once people start to read in and get all this type of info from people like me that do this type of shit. And let's talk about it. Derrick the Beast Henry gets a layup spot from the gods. The Texans are 31st in total yards allowed and dead last in rush yards allowed with a $165 yards a game, and now they got to deal with this man. Oh Lord, is this a fucking great matchup. Henry has 3 straight games with 22 plus carries while averaging 115 yards a game. Now he gets the worst rush D in the league, And we know the Titans are going to feed him, so 22 carries is an easy casher when really we should cash this just with 17, in my opinion. The Titans are going to do what they always do, and that's lean on Henry, and so will I. Go back to 2019. His last 3 games versus the Texans, he has over 200 yards a game, with over 2 touchdowns in every game. Yeah, this is a fucking smash spot, and he loves playing versus these Texans, guys. And now it's the Texans with the worst rush defense. Oh, Lord, is Derrick Henry running for 200 yards tomorrow on Sunday. Now, let's talk about our last great spot before we get into the game of the day. And we're going to head on over to Seattle in the Giants and Seahawks game, where the Seahawks are a -3 favorite and the under-over is at 44.5. And we're going to go to the best running back in the league right now. Saquon Barkley's rush yards over 86.5. And he reminds everyone why they drafted him so high after every freaking game. He is the focal point of this offense, and crazy to even say this, but Daniel Jones hasn't even looked too bad with Barkley behind him. And now he gets a Seahawks D who is 29th in total yards allowed, 29th versus the rush, allowing 150 yards a game. Barkley has had 18-plus carries in 6 of 7 games while averaging 103 yards on the ground. This should be a Barkley and out spot and another easy casher. So all 4 of those spots will be seeing my money in the prop market as well this week. And you should probably be looking at it yourself. So do me a favor, smash the like if you haven't. Go hit that retweet, hit that share, and let's spread the knowledge of all this free money, guys, because we've been killing it on these shows. Now let's talk the game of the day before we get to Billy Briz, and that's the 49ers at the Rams. 49ers are a -1.5 point favorite, and the under-over is set at 42.5. And the first guy I'm going to talk about, most people are bad-mouthing, and I'm not saying he's good, but I'm saying he smashes this fantasy score, and that's Jimmy G's fantasy score over 14. Now, let me explain myself. He is not a top 15 quarterback in my opinion, but in the Shanahan offense with the new addition of Christian McCaffrey, the scripted plays are going to be even more bigger chunk plays in my opinion. This year, Jimmy G has over 14 fantasy points in 4 of 6 games. One of the games where he did not have it was versus the Rams, and he had 13.9 points in that game. So he was 0.1 off from cashing, and now has McCaffrey? Yeah, last week Jimmy G had over 19 fantasy points, and I see another solid fantasy score coming from this man. And that brings me straight into Christian McCaffrey's fantasy score over 18.5. Now, in his second week in this offense, and looked amazing in his first week, it's a solid Rams defense. 3rd in total yards allowed, top 10 versus the rush and the pass, and middle of the pack in points allowed. So why would I want to run McCaffrey up versus this? Well, McCaffrey has already played the Rams this year with P.J. Walker. Let me repeat that. P.J. Walker at quarterback, where they were able to load up 8 in the box, and McCaffrey still 8. 13 carries, 69 yards, while adding in 7 catches for 89 yards. And now gets Shanahan to call his plays? And has Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle? No, you're not loading 8 up. This guy's going to see a lot more game run, and sign me up for the best dual threat running back in the game, and now has a play caller and teammates to open lanes for him. Yeah, CMC to the moon, baby. Now on the other side of the ball, we got to talk about the only 2 players that has been producing in this Rams offense, and that's Higbee and Kupp. First up is Higbee's receiving yards over 46.5, and we took advantage of this spot last week. With the tight ends in football, the best tight end in football, Travis Kelce. Now, I'm not saying Higbee is anything near that, but Matt Stafford looks his way, and that's what's important here. Only 2 times this year has a quarterback even targeted a tight end 4 times or more versus these 49ers, both of them 8. One of those was Kelce last week. The other one was Higbee the first time they ate, where he had 10 catches for 73 yards on 14 targets. Higbee's averaging 49.5 yards a game, and on 34 targets, he's only dropped 3 balls this year. 4 of 6 games this year, Higbee has seen 9+ targets and I don't expect anything to change. Now, 14, a lot, but I do expect 9+ targets. He doesn't drop the ball, and I expect this man to cash for us. And last but not least, Cooper fucking Kupp, the Triple Crown leader from last year, and I'm going to look at his fantasy score over 20.5, where he's cashed this 4 of 6 games this year, and one of them versus the 49ers, where he had 19 targets. Now, do I expect that again? Hell motherfucking no, okay? I'm not one of those guys that are just like, oh, they're going to do it again. No, but I still see 10+ targets. That's reasonable, seeing he's seen 10+ targets in 4 of 6 games. Well, let's dig into this. With Stafford at quarterback, they have faced the Rams 3 times. Cooper Kupp is averaging 10.6 catches and 120 receiving yards, and that cashes us if he doesn't see the end zone or run the ball. And 3 times this year, they have used him in the run game on a reverse. So there's multiple ways for this guy to see the end zone. There's at least some running points available here, and we know he's going to be targeted at least 10 times. We know he's going to have 7 to 8 catches, and we know he's going to have over 100 yards. So I'm going to take everything in and just wrap it all up and take his fantasy score. He eats versus the 49ers with Stafford at the quarterback, and I still don't expect nothing to change in this spot. Well, enough of me poisoning your minds with my opinions. Let's bring in the leader of the NFL Pub Hub and my favorite guy to talk props with, Billy Briz. How is life? How you doing? And a long night of Call of Duty, huh?
Yeah, man, back at it again, man. All the sports are going back here. My Phillies are potentially World Series bound. Philadelphia stand up. We just need the Sixers to get going, man. We even got the Flyers going before the Sixers.
Man, dude, you guys, Philly's actually having a blast right now. Bryce Harper's playing like the man, but yeah, let's get into our favorite spots to attack. And mind you guys out there, Friday mornings, Prize Picks doesn't have everything out. So we are giving you our thoughts on what they do have. So make sure to tune into Pub Hub and follow this man on Twitter so you can see his official NFL props for the weekend. So I say it a lot, guys. It's crazy how much stuff cashes when 2 cappers are looking at the same thing without even capping together. And that brings us into Billy's first prop. And what you looking at, my guy?
Yeah, man, it's funny that you said that. I feel like I'm useless on this show, man. We're all in a lot of the same spots here, but that means we're looking at the right information here. Since coming off the IR, this rookie has looked electric. Greg Dulcich over 30.5 receiving yards, a long touchdown in his debut, followed a 9-target week last week. This number is way too low. I don't think the books have caught up to the usage. I even picked them up in a couple fantasy leagues. If you're looking for a bye-week filler, Greg Dulcich is the man, and he's going to get us to some cash this weekend.
Yeah, I love when the fact that 2 people are on the same plays, and if you've been following it on the Pub Hub, when people are on the same plays, it cashes really freaking easy, guys. Like, me and Billy did not sit down. We did not do our cap. He just brought in usage rates and all different types of shit I don't even understand, and we're still on the same play. So they have not caught up to this man, and until they do, we've got to make some freaking money. And this is going to bring us into this Bengals game for your next prop. So what are you looking at in this one?
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that, Sharp, because last week, me, you, and Connor didn't talk about any of the games, and we're all on the same exact rushing yard prop, and it definitely cashed. But second play of the day, quick preview towards the Monday Night Football game. We're looking at Tyler Boyd over 13 fantasy score. The Bengals have been kind of picking up their passing attack. Joe Burrow's been hot fire of recent, but without Ja'Marr Chase, everyone will have to step up a little bit. A boost to Higgins, Boyd, and Hurst, especially Boyd coming off a monster 155-yard day last week. I think Boyd continues the good times.
Man, Boyd has been money, and I've actually missed out on him. I try to keep it down to like 5 or 6 props, but damn, dude, that dude's been hitting. So this brings us into the second thing why Billy thinks he's useless, but he's not, because he comes up with his own write-ups himself. But he picks 4 plays, 4 freaking plays, and 2 of them are the ones I'm on. I'm going to double bet these myself, guys. I guarantee you I'm going to move the number after this show. So go jump on this, and which one are you on right now, my guy?
Yeah, I'm barking up the same exact tree you were. Raheem Mostert over 67.5. This is one stood out the most to me. It's a spot we've just been attacking all year. Is this Lions rush defense? Mostert's been averaging close to 18 touches per game and 90 scrimmage yards over the last 4 weeks. The Lions are allowing 5.4 yards per carry and the third most fantasy points in the NFL. It doesn't take a genius to put that together. 5.4 yards per carry, 18 touches, let's say about 15 rushes. It doesn't take a genius to put those two together. He's going over that 67.5 rushing yards. And if you think I'm lying, I'm not lying. They're playing against the Detroit Lions. Penny, Stevenson, Elliott, and Pollard all went over, and Mostert will too. Continue the good times rolling. Lions don't go to another bye week because we're just going to keep on attacking the rushing yards.
Man, it's easy money, bro, and I'm surprised it was so low. I was like, what the hell?
I thought it was going to be 75.5.
I probably would have played it there too, though. And I mean, I picked up Mozart at the end of my fantasy draft, bro. I got Sanders and Mozart, bro, sitting at the back of into my draft, bro, that are just like hogs right now. And
oh man,
if you
don't
go
even
back
get me started, Sharpie. We're going through some rough times. We had to start Rashad White last night.
I'm in dead ass last in my $1,000 league, bro. I think I at least get my money back. I can't find a quarterback, bro. Like, I fucking was the douchebag who went Trey Lance. And I've been fishing since. I picked up Dak Prescott, played him versus the Lions, fucking lost that week. I was like, I can't fucking do nothing right now, bro. I have every player, and they just don't perform. Like, my team is stacked. I've got, let's see, Saquon Barkley. I've got Sanders, I've got Mozart and Damian Harris. I've got Waddle, Ayuk, and fucking CeeDee Lamb. I've got Waller and Goddard. Why can't I win?
It just all doesn't click on the same exact week, man. That's just the way the fantasy game goes, man.
Yeah, bro. I mean, literally, these guys are hitting their props almost every day, but at the end of the day, that doesn't pay the bills in fantasy. So I will be in last place unless I just go on a 7-game winning streak, and somehow I left Tampa Bay's defense in last night, and they gave me 11. They haven't got me 11 in the last 2 games. And
that's not bad at all.
I'll take 11. They were getting me fucking 3 versus Carolina, bro. Oh God! But
I still can't believe PJ Walker beat the Bucks, but that's a story for another day.
PJ Walker beat the Bucks, bro. Well, guess what? The Ravens beat the Bucks too with their Tom Brady's not going to lose 3 in a row. Tom Brady is under a bridge, and that bridge is not the bridge you want to be under, guys. Okay, this dude is no longer Goku on this show. He is trash. He is Oscar the Grouch. That's his new name on this show. But enough of us ranting about our fantasy leagues. Let's talk about your last prop you're going to bring in, and that's on the Falcons running back. And which one are you going to bring up?
Yeah, I'm going to jack this name up, though. Tyler Alliger. We're going to go with the rookie here, over 8.5 projected fantasy score. The rookie has seen an uptick in rushes with 10, 13, 15, and 16 over his last 4 games. Coming off a mini breakout, 50 yards and a touchdown versus the Bengals a week ago. He should be able to build off of that versus this Panthers rush defense. I think he goes over, and 4 of these plays cash.
And actually, I'm on 2 of them myself, and I'm going to double bet those 2 personally. I might actually go super hard on Mozart. Wow, you bullshitting. Well, my guy, thank you as always for blessing us with your looks. Where can these great people find you and anything coming up this weekend?
Yeah, man, big UFC card going on this weekend. UFC Vegas 63, but right after this video is the NBA Pub Hub at 4 o'clock Eastern. You catch me there. See you, boys.
Bro, you guys need to start making me a little spot over there, bro. My NBA props, bro.
I saw the Keegan Murray one last night. That was money in the bank.
Bro, I've been riding Keegan Murray since he was at 13.5, though. So, and Paulo Branchero, they finally adjusted today. They put him so high up that I might hit the under.
It might be a 25 plus Pachero and Orlando Magic to win. Don't want to give out too much, but I'm on the Magic, baby.
Paulo been at 30.5 points, rebounds, assists, bro. I think I've lost it 1 time.
Yeah, Paulo's
now
legit,
they adjusted
man.
it. It's 37.5 this morning. They adjusted it. Follow, baby. Follow! So let's get this wrapped up. We're going to hit a quick commercial and come back with the 2-pick power play so y'all can get on over to the Pub Hub NBA show, baby. If you're ever in San Antonio and you don't stop by Southtown 101, we can't be friends. So just go unfollow me. That's the place where the best food is, hands motherfucking down. And I've ate there myself. So if you're ever out there, stop by Southtown 101. Go get you some good food, some good drinks, some live entertainment at night, and a fucking bang for your buck. They're not going to rape your wallet. So stop by Southtown 101 if you're ever in the San Antonio area. And I tell them Sharpie sent you, but that ain't going to get you shit, bro. The prices are cheap enough. You don't need a discount. So, yeah, if you haven't already, go on over to Manscaped. Use that promo code PUBSPORTS. Get yourself the Lawnmower 4.0 and get 15% off your first purchase. Why do you want the Lawnmower 4.0? Let me tell you, guys. It's 2022. You want to hedge your balls and not your bets. It is double standards. Do not be that guy that is that guy. Well, I got to be quick, guys. The NBA Pub Hub has to fucking start. So Big Show is out getting a new puppy. He didn't get back in time. So let's just say great minds think alike. He is going to be on Higbee's fantasy score over 10.5. He is talking about numerous of different things that I didn't bring up, but he is going to talk about the target number of this prop. 5 to 6 catches gets me my over 40 yards, and that hits the 10.5 easily. Higbee has hit this 4 of 6 times, including 4 of his last 5 games. 7 where he's had over 7, where the one time he missed was by 7 yards. The last 4 weeks, he's hit his fantasy score over 10.5. Sign him up for Higbee. 10.5 is just too low. You heard my breakdown on it. Paris Campbell's fantasy points over 9. We all know Matt Ryan got benched, and this is a spot that I take advantage of. Sam Ehlinger is the quarterback, and who has he been taking reps with all summer long? The 3rd and 4th wide receiver, and it helps that Paris Campbell, due to injury, was forced into the last 2 weeks, coming off 10 catches for 70 yards, 7 for 57. Comfortability is real, and Sam will look at Paris more than most. Sign me up for Paris Campbell, baby. Until next time, I'm Sharpie's Bets, and we got a dip.
Rated, shout out to him. This is the Pitch Whisperer Day, guys. Let's get to the money.